Nearly 2 months after the tragic death of a 5-year-old boy in a Chicago migrant shelter, we're learning how he died. According to the Cook County Medical Examiner, the boy died from sepsis that resulted after a rare complication from the bacteria that causes strep throat. He had been staying at the shelter with his family when he became ill. Shelter staff administered first aid. He then was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Chicago Alderman Byron Cicho Lopez represents the district where the shelter is located, and he's joining me right now. Alderman, good to see you. So you put out a very passionate statement last week saying you were deeply heartbroken. Tell us, about how you learned these details and how that's making so many people to feel.
Well, thank you again. And as not only as elected official, but as a father of young children, I'm deeply heartbroken for the family of John Carlos. The loss of a son, the loss of a son and of a family member never goes away. Right now in Chicago, we are trying to do everything we can to address the serious needs that we have in terms of these humanitarian needs. We have right now, unfortunately, as you mentioned, these tragedies that keep amounting because of the serious conditions that are being created. We have a governor in Texas that is treating this as a war zone, is not treating this as a humanitarian crisis. We have people arriving in flip-flops and without jackets sometimes. We have Arctic weather. And again, in this case, in the case of John Carlos, this is a tragedy when we see this. Again, we are all familiar with the strep throat here in Chicago. Unfortunately, when this becomes a more serious and aggressive type, and we see blood disease, this ended up in a tragedy. The medical examiner ruled this natural cause. And again, we as a city, as a community, we are an immigrant community. We are urging the state, for instance, to reinstate access to undocumented patients to be able to access medical care. Something was cut last year. We're also asking the federal government to please urgently have the same resources that we did and we employ in Chicago to receive 29,000 Ukrainian refugees that are also fleeing violence and are in need. Right now, again, we are deeply heartbroken in our community that we have a young boy that is no longer with his family, and only a few months ago we also had a 3-year-old little girl that died in transit from Texas to Chicago. This requires all to work with all the weight of government at every level, local and federal level, to address this humanitarianly and to urgently take on the needs of cities and destination cities like Chicago that are in urgent need of federal and state support.
Yeah, I mean, the circumstances of old John Carlos's death are horrifying. So when he died, the city of Chicago was sheltering nearly 14,000 migrants at 27 temporary shelters. What is the situation there now?
So in this particular shelter, and again, we've been asking for support. We have over 2,000 people in one location. It's like a little city. We have not been able to decompress as we see more people arriving, and again, threats of even bringing more people. What we're asking is collaboration to decompress, to resettle, to treat this with humanity, to make sure that we address this on a coordinated effort instead of putting so much burden. And again, in cities like Chicago that are doing everything they can, but without decompression, without federal support, without state support, housing is already a huge issue in the city of Chicago. We have over 80,000 people that are unhoused, 20,000 CPS children. So when we add new neighbors, and again, the city of Chicago has done above and beyond, but again, without the same process that welcome Ukrainian refugees and without an state that works in collaboration with us, it is a titanic task. And that's why we also ask the federal government for intervention, for collaboration, with in the border. It seems like there is a lot of willingness to support in Mexico. The president has asked for a meeting. We're asking to treat this with collaboration in coordination with all levels of government and also with diplomacy internationally to prevent more tragedies.
Byron Sigjo Lopez, glad you could be with us. Thank you so much. Very sad details. And we'll be right back.
Thank you.